I love you. Dead sound acquired. Welcome back, Couch Potatoes. So happy to have you here. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh. We're starting a very new, exciting playlist today.
Yes, a very new, very exciting, far-spanning Batman playlist. We're talking about Batman today here on Green and Faceless on the Couch. I am the Faceless Leon. Welcome, Couch Potatoes.
Ooh.
I'm going to take a drink of water. I can feel like, you know, like when you need like a drink of water and your talking works get all gummy. I bet you love hearing that.
And all your chords are all scratchy and everything.
Yeah.
We know our friend recently showed us the images of like the inside of your throat, your vocal cords and everything when you're like singing. And I haven't been able to get rid of that image in my head. But it's just like it makes you think when you're doing a show like this, it's just like, all those like mechanics going on in my throat.
You would think that it'd be safe for work, but it's not safe for work.
No, it's not. It really isn't. If you watch the videos of your vocal cords or whatever whatever you call those, if you watch the videos of it, somebody's gonna think you're looking at a very weird porn. Yeah. And I mean, we say weird. I don't want to.
No kink
somebody's
shaming.
No. Yeah, if you like that inner sex camera, like, hey,
I think
get it.
Intersex means something other than you're thinking it means, but
I meant like inner, like in the body,
interior sex. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I think people understood. But yeah, we're starting a new Batman playlist. It's very exciting. We have we found a website that has like a fairly strong chronological order of films that he's been in. But there will probably be some that are overlooked, maybe missed. We're definitely not doing the next serial, the sequel serial, because today we're talking the Batman of 1943. It was a 15-chapter serial that was broadcast, I think, before feature films. Like they would put a 15-minute clip.
Exactly. So they would basically they'd keep the projector pretty much running, and you pay to get in, and you sit until the feature-length film is over, or whenever you want to leave. It was a lot looser back then. And, it only cost like a nickel to get in. And
one whole nickel.
And it also, nobody had a TV. So, you could really just spend your afternoon sitting there watching serials. This is how people got the news, besides from radio. But all of the clips that you see in war documentaries and stuff like that, this is where the people in the 40s were actually getting it, was at the movie theaters before a feature-length film, or they just came in to watch the news and maybe the serials.
Yeah. And this one's this one's something else. But we're not gonna do the sequel serial to it. There's another one. I think 1949 they did another serial. We've decided, the Faceless Leon and I were like, nah. We get enough from this one.
Yeah, I think
we're gonna move on from here to the next big one, which is Adam West's big movie. And that's the fun, exciting. Before we dive into what this serial is about, that's one of the fun, exciting facts. Is this serial is the direct inspiration of the Adam West television show in the 60s. That
makes sense to me. I will also say that there is something in the score, especially towards the end of this serial set, that is reminiscent of the animated series theme.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Yeah. But I guess, I don't know the full truth of this fact, but I read somewhere that Hugh Hefner showed this entire serial at the Playboy Mansion back in the 60s. And it garnered a lot of press buzz, and people were talking about it, I guess. And because of that, they made the Adam West serial, like some TV show. Somebody was just like, Batman's doing pretty good. Why don't we reboot that and make fun of that genre? Because that's kind of what the Adam West stuff is. It's kind of poking fun at all of it.
Sure,
but
It's
kind of lost
fun,
that edge over time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people kind of look back on it and they don't realize it's making fun of things. They just think it's like a goofy show. And I think that's just how, like, you know, as shows age, it kind of just loses its meaning in the moment and becomes something entirely new. But that was the Adam West Batman show. Yeah, it really is. Like
every episode
I can't wait
I've
to talk
seen,
it.
anyways, of the TV series, I have enjoyed.
Yeah. It's very fun. I remember watching it all the time when I was a kid because it was, you know, my mom worked really early, so there were often days before work where my brother and I were up at, or before school, I mean, where my brother and I were up at, like, you know, 6 a.m. And there was always an Adam West Batman episode on around that time, so we just watch it. Why the fuck not?
Catch it tonight on TV Land.
But yeah, sadly, we're not talking to Adam West this week. We're talking Lambert
Wilson.
Hillier's. Oh yeah. I was talking to the director, Lambert Hillier's Batman serial. And, you know, I looked into Lambert Hillier because I was like, I don't know
nothing.
Older films at all, really. And so I was like, maybe there's something I've seen. There's not, but I did see. A fun fact is that he was born in Tyner, Indiana.
Oh,
yeah,
he's a Hoosier.
He's a Hoosier boy. Yeah, he directed this piece of trash, and I'm very excited to talk about it.
So, I think first off, before we get into the synopsis of this, we should make it clear that during World War II, really, every country participates in propaganda. It's just true. And if you don't know that, then I'm sorry. You've probably fallen prone to propaganda. I'm sure that I have as well. But in this time period, after we were attacked by the Japanese government, I don't remember what the title of their empire was at the time. After they attacked Pearl Harbor, we of course got into World War II, and we were attacking the Axis powers along with the Allies. Everyone should know that as well. If you don't know that, then you've probably fallen prone to propaganda.
Or our system's gotten so bad.
Our system's gotten pretty bad. So there is a lot of racism and demonization of the Japanese people in this propaganda, because they really were aiming at the time, the government, I know, I wouldn't say so much as paid, but maybe commissioned Hollywood to make propaganda.
Yeah.
And
I mean, no joke, in this serial, Batman is not a vigilante because that was taboo back then. He couldn't be a vigilante. The government wouldn't have it. So he was actually a government agent working undercover in Gotham City. Yep. It's ridiculous to think Batman ever worked for the government like that.
Right.
At least in this serial.
There's Douglas Croft plays Dick Grayson Robin, and there's this point where they get like a telegraph or something. He's like, "Oh wow, Batman, your first real assignment."
Yeah, he's like a kid. Like they got I'm sure the actor was like 20 some years old or whatever.
Doesn't look
but
like a kid to me.
It's so funny because like I didn't know if you had noticed when I texted you this, but like I discovered as I was watching this serial, it bothered me a lot. Was that Robin? Douglas Croft. He's this young guy. He's very skinny. He's got pale, thin legs, and whenever there was a fight scene, boy, did he buff the fuck up and get hairy ass thighs. Like, it was hilarious. I'm watching this show and I'm just like, wait, those aren't his legs from like 2 minutes ago.
I gotta wonder.
I mean, I'm a leg guy. I look at everybody's legs.
Oh, okay.
And so
there's a lot of Robin legs. There's a lot of legs for Robin in this. Yeah.
Yeah. And boy, was it very apparent whenever the stunt double stepped on in, because it was a joke, man. I was watching this. I'm like, man, to be fair, it's black and white. It's early era of television kind of thing. So it's like, I get it. I'm not going to like knock this movie that fucking hard for very apparent stunt doubles. Right. But like, you could have gotten somebody that at least looked similar.
We're
like,
gonna shave your legs.
Beefy.
You're gonna what?
How dare? What the fuck are you talking about?
I ain't no French lady. I think you're thinking about that wrong. Let's cut that.
I am a French lady.
I am a French lady.
Oh, cutting it all. Anyways. But no, it was very obvious. And Batman was less obvious. His outfit is an absolute fucking joke. Like, he literally has like cat ears. More like bull horns. They're more like horns.
They're more on the side of his face than on the top, for sure.
It's just like a pull-over cloth, too. Like, it's not even like a good cowl or anything.
There is one point, actually, that he takes it off, and there's like these snaps in the front, and it comes apart down here, and he pulls it off. And I'm like, wait a minute. And that's something I want to kind of track as we watch this, and we'll see how well I remember. I want to see how many times they actually physically take the mask off. Because I remember Michael Keaton, or maybe Clooney or Val Kilmer taking it off, and it was super rubbery, and it looked awful.
Yeah.
I remember that shot from something. It might be the second Tim Burton movie. I think it was in that. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I want to check that, because
when his eyeliner disappears.
Yes. So they took off the mask, and I thought, man, that's probably like one of the most practical ways I've ever seen Batman take off his mask, like in a live action.
Just a couple clasps underneath the chin. Yeah, it works.
Yeah. But beyond that, it's pretty bad.
it is just a joke. It is hilarious. Like, legit, like, dude in pajamas with tights over his, his pajamas. It's so funny. And like, they did a better job with his stunt double, because most of his face is covered. The Lewis Wilson, the guy who plays Bats, he's a fairly normal looking guy in the and out of the mask.
Blend in with anybody, which honestly works pretty well with Batman's Master of Disguise nonsense.
Yeah, so whenever he switched into the stunt double, it was harder to notice. You can kind of see a change in how well the suit was fitting.
Sure.
Because like on Lewis Wilson, it's a little flabby, and he's not he's not ripped in the gut. But then when his stunt double stepped in, you can see that there are abs, and that the suit fits a little better. Oh. But it's harder to notice his stunt double than it was Robin's. Robin's was super easy. Like, whenever you just saw hairy thighs, you're like, hello.
That's when they take the venom. They gotta take the venom.
Yeah, he's too young. He can't just fight with Batman. He's gotta get pumped.
They both take a little bit of
steroids. My venom.
And venom. It's bat venom. It's okay. It's FDA approved. It's Bat DA approved. So let's talk about the synopsis. Yeah.
Let's look into it.
So, Bruce, Playboy millionaire. We don't have to tell you that, I hope. He's not, actually. That's just his cover for Batman. I hope we didn't have to tell you that either.
Exactly. He's actually just a government agent.
That's right. He's actually just a government agent.
Super spy.
Anyhow, he's like kind of seeing Linda Page, Shirley Patterson. And she comes to him very distressed, because when she went to go pick her uncle up from prison, he was a businessman, and apparently he did some fraudulent things, or at least was accused and convicted of them.
As you do.
But, it was the 20s. when he got, I'm sure, just getting out of prison now. Anyhow, she goes to go pick him up, but he's not there. And that distresses her. And so Batman is on the case. And so we find out, before Batman gets there, because irony, and you got to know who the villain is and everything. Very melodramatic this is. We meet we meet this like carnival barker guy. I don't remember his name. I think it was Bernie. But it might have been a different guy throughout the serial, because this is, like we said, this was done in 15 parts. It was edited to kind of feel like one long movie.
Yeah, a 3 hour and a
3.5
40-minute long movie. Yeah, fucking ridiculous. It's longer ridiculous. Than The Batman.
Yes, it's
and
longer
tells
than...
less of a story.
Does I like finished it? I was like, hey, you know what? Like, story-wise, I thought it was okay for the first hour, and then the last hour, the middle hour could just be gone. It has no relevance to the actual plot.
I was getting real pissed because I was like, they show alligators like in the first or second serial, and I'm like, all right, motherfuckers, like you better have what's the whose gun is it? Chekhov's gun. You better have Chekhov's gun. Like if those alligators are not used to kill somebody, I'm gonna be pissed. And then, I was getting super pissed because by the 14th serial, nothing had happened. In the 15th serial, it finally fucking happened. I was like, oh,
jeez, that was one hell of a setup.
I was like, my God. I was just, like, so relieved. I was like, all right, you guys earned back half of a star. Like,
so, you find out that this Hall of Terrors or Tunnel of Terrors, whatever it is, that this Carnival Barker is selling. It's a little wide. Love, it's like the Tunnel of Love, but they converted it to have depiction of Japanese soldiers killing American soldiers and other it very much villainizes them. And if they were having any reports from the Pacific War at this time, they were pretty brutal to their prisoners in this time period. There were a lot of reasons to be afraid, but obviously this depiction does not help us see them as human, and that's what the filmmakers wanted. But you get to the end of the tunnel, and it turns out there's a secret passageway to the laboratory and offices of Dr. Dacre, played by J. Carroll Naish, I believe, or Nash, not sure. Yeah. It's Naish. And he is very clearly in yellowface and doing an accent. What I think is kind of probably the most shameful part of this is that he might be the most talented person in the cast. It's sad, but
it's true. It's very sadly true. Yeah, he is an original villain solely for this serial. I don't think they've ever brought him back, rightfully so. They should never bring this back. But yeah, it's like I get where the times were, but yeah, this is it's so terribly racist. But
yeah,
he does make a decent villainous performance at times. Yes. Like there are so many moments where I'm just like
melodrama, but the fact that it's racially charged is just so gut churning.
Yeah,
to the modern lens for sure.
And it's really just the whole the whole plot's just dumb because it's just like he's trying to steal something. He's trying to what is the thing he's trying to steal? Radium?
Radium in the first thing, but that's because he wants to use it for a device that a superpowered device to give to the Axis powers. And he also is making this spy ring with American industrialists. Like he is kidnapping defamed industrialist economists, scientists of all sort, to be in his spy ring and help him make these things for the Axis powers. Very sinister. And if they refuse, he turns them into zombies. And yeah, he does. Yeah, it is pretty hilarious.
Imagine they did not have good like CGI or any kind of a thing. So it's like the effect of him turning people into zombies, he basically lowers this like glass kind of helmet over them, and then it fills up with fog while there's like electricity going around and everything, and you can see that the actors are fucking terrified because it's like
I gotta give it to Linda Page at the end of the movie. She seemed pretty composed.
Yeah, she did a decent job, but there wasn't much that happened when she was in it. There was like a little bit of fog that started up, and then they kind of cut away from it.
Killed it down.
Yeah. Everybody else, you can see them literally like gritting their teeth, like holding on to the arm. Like, it makes it look good because you're just like, oh man, they're definitely terrified. But no, in real life, the actors are fucking horrified, trying not to breathe because it's just filled with smoke.
Who knows what that is?
Yeah. It was hilarious and sad at the same time because I'm just watching the whole thing. I'm just like, oh, those poor people. They're being tortured right now, like legitimately. And they're probably not being paid that well.
So after the death trap is taken off of them, they get this like little like metal swirly doodad put on top of their head called the zombie control module. And I think that's right. I'm not sure. I just finished it today.
It is. I think you're right.
And they put that on top of their head like a little hat that you're trying to block the aliens with. And then he uses a microphone to tell them what they want to do. And so that's what happens to her uncle. And long story short, Batman, it does some actual detectiving. There's a lot more detective work in this than action fighting. But there's still some of that. Right.
And the action is actually kind of not bad for, especially for the 40s. Like, they're definitely throwing punches. They're definitely, some of them are landing. Like, it's choreographed, but like, you can tell that it really felt like some fights. Like, it's decently done. Like, I will give it that. The fighting is the only part that I was enjoying because then you got to see hairy legs.
Yeah. Honestly, when you said the choreography is really good, I just remembered Linda Page, Dr. Dacre being like, Linda Page, smack Batman.
yeah, that's fun.
Smack.
There's a lot of hilarious moments. Like, it's not unwatchable. It's kind of, the racism is unwatchable. There's a lot of it where I just tuned out because I was like, oh, fuck, again. But there's a lot of it that at the same time that was kind of just like, I would be laughing because it's funny bad. Like, I mean, in the time it was great. It was for the 40s, I'm sure it was fabulous. But like nowadays, we've seen so much better that it's just kind of watching it. It's just like, oh, this is so silly.
It's definitely only worth watching for the historical context of, what did people used to do with Batman? Because Batman is an institution. And Batman has been here for everyone who is alive's life.
Exactly. Yeah, and fun fact: this movie is this serial. Is a lot of firsts. There's a lot of changes that this serial made to the Batman franchise in general. It's the first time you have a Bat Cave, although they call it Bat's Cave in this.
Oh, dude! Yes, the Bat's Cave.
And the Bat Cave has a secret grandfather clock entrance that's very iconic of Batman. Yeah, first time in this film. This was the first film where they come out of a grandfather clock, and that's their entrance to the Bat Cave. And, it's that was a big change. But another big change, and probably the biggest, is before this serial, Alfred was a fat little white guy.
Really?
And this movie was like, what if we made him a very skinny, tall English guy with a pencil-thin mustache, and that is now his look forever. Like, and I love their Alfred. Their Alfred is who is that? William Austin.
He's uncredited, but yes, William Austin, and also his name is Fred Beagle. I loved it. Alfred Beagle.
Fred Beagle.
Alfred Beagle.
Oh, Alfred Beagle.
Yeah, it is still Alfred.
That's hilarious. Yeah, there's a lot of weird characters that they just didn't because like there's a James Gordon character.
Yeah,
but his name, he's just like Captain
Arnold.
Something.
Captain Arnold.
Captain Arnold, that's
Let's
right.
See if I can find him.
Charles C. Wilson.
Carl C. Wilson. You found it before me.
But like their Alfred is so... Yeah, I didn't know anybody either. Like Lewis Wilson, like that was like the biggest problem with this movie is whenever Batman is on, like Bruce Wayne is on screen, I didn't recognize him.
Right.
I just thought he was another guy from the 60s
and
or the
then
40s.
when he
I'm
plays
just like,
Chuck White, then he goes in disguise as Chuck White, and they keep on referring to it like throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And when he came out, I was like, okay, yeah, he looks like the same guy, but also not.
Yeah. They really like. I was just like, "Is that a different guy?" Like, I don't know. It kind of looks. I haven't been paying attention to what Bruce Wayne looks like. And then Linda Page comes in. She starts calling him Chuck White. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's not him." And then I realized, "Oh no, he's supposed to be in disguise." That's right. I remember now. I have no clue what's going on. Now all these faces blend together. The only one I recognize is Douglas Croft as Dick Grayson. It's because he's so fucking young and has curly hair.
Yeah.
Like that was the only way he was the only one that stood out. Well, I guess Alfred too, but like. All the other people, they were all the same. Like it was hard for me to like remember people after a while. I was just like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Like these people showing up. I'm
this
just like,
is
all
true.
right.
Like especially the people who sit around Dr. Dacus or DACA's table. I don't know any of them.
And they bring them back like movie. One by one to the Batcave, and I just forget why they're there.
Right. Oh, there are some like really funny things about DACA's laboratory, like the entrance from the Cave of Horrors or whatever it is. Like the person puts a hand up, and I never quite got it. Like it does an X-ray, and there's like a patch with a 5, and that's how he knows that it's them and that they can come in. And I'm like, okay, but why do they know that? Suddenly, in the last serial, when Batman uses the pager and his hand gets X-rayed, there's a bat on it. But, like, how did Batman know what it was going to do to send that signal? /
That's ridiculous.
What is the thing actually doing? What is it doing?
I don't think I noticed that at all. That's so fucking funny.
They kept on they kept on showing this image of the hand with the 5 on it. And I was like, okay, maybe they'll do something with that eventually. And I thought maybe, Batman would put his hand up there and it'd just be a blank hand. But no, it has the bat symbol. And there's no reason for it.
That's fucking wonderful, man. Oh, that's this whole movie. It's just like, it's ridiculous, but like there is enjoyment to be had, but it's not good enjoyment, honestly. Like it's ludicrous. It's just insane. It's like, oh my god, this is where Batman started. This is his big like cinematic breakthrough, and it's like, well, who was the first Batman? Lewis Wilson. Who? and the serial, apparently the sequel serial, I mean, the one that we're not going to talk about, new Batman, new Robin, new everybody. Like, apparently it's a sequel, but a completely new cast. And I'm just like,
I believe
all right. It's so weird. Like, I don't know. It's forgettable. I definitely won't be coming back to it. No. I don't know if we're ready for closing statements.
Let's do it. Yeah.
But yeah, I found it, there's a lot that's just hilarious about it, though, at the same time. Like, it is funny. Especially, like, Robin running around yelling Batman and Robin when they're acting like civilians. It's like, sounds like a job for Batman and Robin. Let's go, Bruce! It's just, like, shouting that out in the middle of a street. And then Batman's just, like, killing people left and right. Like, every single chapter, like, ends with him near death. Like, there's one where a plane just crashes and he's on the plane, but he just, like, walks out of it. He's just like, oh, God, that was weird. Well, too bad for the 3 people that were in the plane that just died that I didn't save. Like, that's the government for you, man. He's a government agent. You got to remember that. He's not a vigilante with a role.
I don't think he directly killed anybody in the movie, but a lot of people died because of Batman in this movie. That's damn sure.
That's for damn sure. And, I give it 1.5 stars. The racism brings it down a shit ton. Mm-hmm. And then, like, but it's still funny. Like, it doesn't fall into, like, the absolute trash, don't watch it. It does have some redeemable qualities and some historical aspects and stuff that, like a lot of the Batman firsts. It's nice to go back and be like, this is where the Batcave came from. This show right here. Like,
that is pretty
it's
interesting.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for my closing statement,
Alfred's hilarious.
Alfred is hilarious. He's a super scaredy cat. I like him more as like an ex-mercenary type, like they have been doing.
I do too, yeah.
And I guess we'll talk more about that come Michael Caine.
Plus, Batman and Robin are driven around by Alfred, as are Bruce and Dick.
All the time.
How is nobody recognizing what's going on?
The same car, same license plates.
Same car. They just take the top down.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. So I'm gonna upfront give this a half a face. I don't really care for it. It's obviously extremely racist.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, Batman even uses a slur in that last serial.
I was gonna say not for the entire, like, I thought they were gonna get away with it. I was like, okay, there's a lot of slurs going on, but Batman hasn't used one yet. And then he drops like 5 in the last chapter alone. I'm just like, oh,
yep,
there you go.
They really wanted to nail it in that last serial, what this was about. And it's about making people mad and angry and hateful towards Japanese people. And I want to express how difficult life was for Japanese people in America at this time. One thing that we do not talk about enough in this nation is how we interned all the first and second generation Japanese immigrants during this time period. Basically, like, we can say, oh, well, it was better than, but it was very similar to what Germany was doing at the same time. And, we talk so much about that. And, yes, their camps were about annihilation. That is for sure. But a lot of people died and suffered very badly in these internment camps. And so we need to talk about it. And I think that's why this is historically relevant, because it is from a time where our country was very willing to incite the anger of its own people. And we've seen that happen in our own lifetime. Not necessarily directly from our government, but a part of it.
Sometimes directly from our government. Yeah.
Well, that's my sad note to end it on. But I felt like it was worth saying, worth mentioning. No. It's important, and we should do it. Pick it back up.
Don't bring us down. No, it is important to say, and we appreciate that you bring it to the table.
Oh, thanks.
Because it is. This show, I can't recommend it. I don't think you recommend it, but we'll be back. We'll be back with one that I do recommend.
Yes,
next
definitely.
Week.
And I will say, while I don't recommend it, if you are curious from a historical standpoint, like we were, I think it's worth it for that. But you don't have to watch the whole thing. You get it from the first half an hour of watching it.
Yeah, 3.5 hour long fucking movie. And I got like an hour and a half in, and I literally thought, maybe I could just stop now.
You probably
maybe I don't have to watch the last 2 hours. So I was just like, I don't know. But honestly, what was driving me was the stunt double stuff, because I like pulling that out whenever I was watching the fight scenes. I thought that was funny to look for.
I like the practical effects too. Like, and you also actually saw Batman doing chemistry and all these different things that Batman actually does, but is glazed over for the action bits. Mm-hmm. So I appreciated it for that.
It's just 3.5 hours long.
Yes, it is way too long. I wish somebody would take it, pare it down, and edit it out the racism, but that's impossible because of the villain.
The main villain, yeah.
I'm sure that the sequel is less racist. I can't claim that for certain, though.
Who knows? We're not gonna watch it.
War, so
we're gonna jump straight to a more hilarious time.
Yes,
and I can't wait until we talk about that next week. But until then, thank you for joining us. I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh,
and I am the Faceless Leon. Safe travels and good night. And check out our Patreon at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.